Well, howdy gang, it's Tuesday the 15th of May 2018 and this is your EV News Daily. Well, good morning, good afternoon and good evening. And wherever you're listening around the world, a very warm welcome from London in the UK. Here is today's news about electric cars and the future of transport. My name is Martin Lee and I go through every EV article online so you don't have to. Coming up on the show today, some groundbreaking research that shows that EVs make you happier and more focused, and how we have a new name making EVs in China. But it's an old name. But first of all, as you may have seen on a recent fully charged show, the Mercedes EQC is in the final stages of testing. In fact, the body is so complete that it's driving around in camouflage panels, because underneath it is the real thing. So they're behind Jaguar, you would say, because of the I-Pace, but they're ahead of sister company Audi with the e-tron Quattro and BMW with the iX3. And it seems the EQ brand is central to Mercedes' plans for electric cars. I did notice, as a keen F1 fan, as well as Formula E fan, that some time ago now, Mercedes replaced the word hybrid on the side of their Formula 1 cars with EQ power. Or is it powered by EQ? Either way, clearly they're making it a big deal on the corporate side of things. Well, putting the Mercedes lineup of full electric vehicles under the EQ umbrella is meant to shine a light on the automaker's technical competence, says Britta Seeger. She is the Mercedes-Benz global sales and marketing boss. That's according to Automotive news. But perhaps more importantly than clear branding, they also really want you to test drive one. They reckon that once you've test driven a Mercedes electric vehicle, it changes everything. And that means having one for you to test drive. And that sounds kind of obvious, but when you turn up at a dealership at the moment, not Mercedes, any other dealership who sells EVs, and ask for a test drive in an electric or even a hybrid car, you often get mixed results. Well, Mercedes is working with dealers globally to set up test drive events. So far, the events are with plug-in hybrid models and the smart electric vehicle. Of course, the little smart cars being rebranded as Smart EQ as well. Well, dealers in Europe have been asked to keep one or two hybrid models on hand for test drive experiences, Seeger said. I can imagine sections of the showroom perhaps in different colours or styles, or a separate area for the EQ branded cars. However, actually when you think about it, maybe that's not the best option. I wonder if sometimes they're making life harder for themselves by putting all their different cars in like silos, if you like, especially those based on platforms like the Mercedes, like the BMW, using the X3 as the platform for the iX3. Same car's going to have different powertrains, maybe, rather than going into a showroom and there being some sort of special area for like the special cars. You just put them all in a row, and so that one's electric and that one's hybrid, and that one has that's petrol or gas. It compares apple to apples, if you like. Then again, on the flip side, I'll just present the opposing side. You could argue Tesla has done such a good job at stealing those big spenders from those big German marques, like Mercedes and BMW. You could argue that they should have electric specialists, highly trained salespeople who can answer any question about EVs and put them in a special place, give you that whole kind of Tesla experience, but done by Mercedes. Well, Automotive news continue that Tesla sold 28,800 top-of-the-line Model S sedans in 2017. More than triple. It's more than triple the number of BMW 7 Series sedans, nearly double the amount of the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Both the Merc and the BMW large cars are down significantly from their previous highs in the US. And whilst US and European EV makers are just getting started, it seems like, their production numbers are dwarfed by some of their Chinese competitors and some Chinese companies who they don't see as competitors. Well, they haven't until now. One of those being BAIC. And as they say, they're not mucking around. That wasn't their quote, by the way. They're not messing around, though. Many of those companies have held ambitions for a long time to conquer their domestic market, learn their lessons, and then sell cars to the USA and the rest of the world. And whilst that idea was seen as far-fetched by many, even until recent times, recent research has shown that in terms of electric cars, when some research has been done, the whole made in China thing, not coming across as a problem for people to buy cars. They'll happily buy an EV that's from a brand they've never heard of, because it's an electric car. They actually trust it coming from China. And so the news came through yesterday that one of those big Chinese manufacturers, BAIC, is moving into Europe. BAIC's EC series is the world's #1 selling electric car in 2017. And that's from only selling them in China. Well, the Austrian Magna, those who make fully built cars for companies who need extra capacity, for instance, or who don't want to make a certain model or even range in their own factories, Magna will make not just parts and bits, but they'll make the whole vehicle. They've signed a deal with BAIC, and yes, Magna, they are the ones who you've heard are making the Jaguar I-Pace. It's made under contract, not actually by Jaguar. And that would be the luxury I-Pace. So Magna know how to make luxury cars for a Western market. BAIC Group, the Beijing Automotive Industry Holdings Company Limited. And Magna yesterday announced they're going to jointly develop a next-gen smart EV architecture. To begin with, for the Chinese market, China's currently the leading market for electric mobility in the world. Around 700,000 electric cars were sold there in 2017. And by 2020, the number of all-electric cars on China's roads forecast to be 5 million, due in part to the subsidies and quotas by the Chinese government. Well, Magna, they say, was selected to be BAIC's partner due to the innovative and cost-effective solutions throughout its complete vehicle manufacturing and engineering services, as well as its full-scale electronic and electrical architecture and lightweight technologies. Well, moving on, and a new study undertaken by Geely-owned LEVC here in the UK, the London EV company, has shown that the quieter driving environment of an EV can significantly help your mental health. Now, the work, in conjunction with academics from the University of York, has been released during Mental Health Awareness Week. It's something that certainly my workplace is getting involved in, and the owners of our company are super aware of particularly workplace-induced stress and doing a lot around that at my company, much to their credit, by the way. Anyway, back to the cars. They are focusing on stress reduction, and driving an EV shows that moving from a diesel to an electric improves your mental well-being for commercial vehicle drivers. Now, in a world first, LEVC commissioned this experiment to monitor mental activity amongst a host of physical factors of drivers in both the new EV taxis they're making, the famous black cabs that every tourist has ridden in here in London, and previous diesel models as well, to find out the effects of having the different noise in the cabins and what the new electric taxi would have on your well-being. Well, the test was designed, say LEVC, they told us, and executed by an acoustics expert, Dr. Duncan Williams of the University of York, and took place in central London with 4 professional cabbies taking to the wheel of both vehicles and undertaking some trial drives. This is fascinating research, and it involves a piece of technology I'm not sure I can even say, an electroencephalogram. Yeah, one of those! Often referred to as a brain cap. Yeah, you've seen those on the telly. Was placed on the head of each driver. Now, electrodes within the the brain cap was monitoring brain activity over the route through the capital. A set route, by the way, as scientific as it could be, giving some previously unseen insight into differing mental states, say LEVC. Well, Chris Gubby, who is the CEO of LEVC, said that our aim with the TX, the new electric taxi, was to make the world's most advanced taxi. And if you've seen the Fully Charged show with Johnny and Robert Llewellyn riding in it, they were pretty impressed as well. Chris Gubby continues, a vehicle that would not only help reduce urban air pollution, but improve comfort and convenience for passengers and drivers. Across the globe, we are delighted to find we've made a vehicle that is proven to make cabbies' working lives better. So that's the results of this study. They found themselves more relaxed, calmer, happier, and more focused compared to those when they were driving the diesel car. Given that cabbies, says Chris, spend up to 12 hours a day driving the vehicle as their office, we owe them a duty of care, he says, to provide the best working environment. And this new study shows that driving an electric cab has benefits for your mental well-being. Next year, they'll be introducing a new electric light commercial vehicle. White van man, as we say. Is that a phrase elsewhere? Or is that just a thing here in Britain? White van man. The positive health implications of going electric will be extended to professional van and delivery drivers as well, says Chris Gubby. Now, unlike the previous taxi, the electric taxi's multi-filter system, this sounds a little bit like your Tesla system, works to remove gases and particulates from the air coming in. In addition, an inbuilt air quality sensor closes the external intake if it detects increased pollution in the outside air, protects passengers and the driver from the capital's poor air quality, and I can confirm that. I do a mixture of walking and riding my bike across London. Actually, I say my bike. I don't anymore. I now just hire the Azure City, or do you know anywhere that's got these bikes you can hire? The scheme started in London years ago now, and my bike hasn't left the garage in a long time. Just so convenient. It's like £2 a day for unlimited riding, and I've got one right outside the train station at London's Waterloo, and literally outside the doorstep of where I work in London's Soho. So I get the train into London, jump on a bike for £2, and that gets me all around town, and it gets me to work. I do that and walking, but either way, I mean, London stinks some days. So we need more of these cabs, by the way. Well, there's a new name in electric cars, as I mentioned at the top of the show. The name is... the name is Tesla. Tesla has registered a new electric car company in Shanghai as China prepares to scrap its rules, ease its rules on capping foreign ownership of new energy vehicle ventures, says Reuters. Now, that's because until now, you've had to go into a 50-50 partnership with a domestic maker. Well, the article continues this. The new company will focus on electric cars, spare parts and batteries, according to the filing. The new company is going to be called Tesla Shanghai, and it was registered 5 days ago on May the 10th, according to a filing with the National Enterprise Credit Information Publicity System. Catchy name, right? Tesla Motors HK Limited is the sole shareholder in the firm, says the Reuters article. Well, Elon Musk recently said he'll be naming the chosen location for the first Chinese factory, or gigafactory, very soon. Means they haven't got to face import duty on cars made in the US and then sold into China. Plus, Elon did confirm the Chinese gigafactory is going to have every function under one roof. Well, Tesla on a bit of a roll recently, releasing new videos. And yesterday we saw the official Tesla Twitter account release details of another installation of power packs, this time in Belgium, designed to balance the grid. In case anyone's forgotten, the Gigafactory, by the way, not just flat out making battery packs for all three Tesla models, but also the expanding part of Tesla. I think some people forget Tesla energy sometimes. They know it's there, but they get a bit carried away. 140 power packs, wowzers, in total, been shipped across the Atlantic to make a total of 18.2 megawatts of power output for this installation. There's going to be one coming to the UK as well. They're going to replace the gas generators, which have previously been used for some rapid response to balance out the grid. Our appliances, everything that's powered, likes to be... Is it 50? It's 50 hertz, actually 40. It's not. It's 50 hertz. And if they're not at 50 hertz, they get very grumpy. That's why the grid has to always be balanced. Hey, I'm no electrical engineer. I could be making that up. Right, here is the memo that Elon Musk just sent to announce a major shake-up at Tesla. He told employees yesterday the company is going to flatten, and that's the quote, flatten its structure as it works to improve communication and trim activities that aren't vital, says CNBC. Right, here is the full memo, which I haven't obtained, so I'm taking this from two different sources. From CNBC is the one that the article that I read this on first of all. So there's no reason to believe that there's anything in here that wouldn't come from Elon and Tesla, but that's the disclaimer. So he says this: to ensure that Tesla's well prepared for the future, we've been undertaking a thorough reorganization of the company. As part of the reorg, we are flattening the management structure to improve communication, combining functions where sensible and trimming activities that are not vital to the success of our mission. To be clear, we will continue to hire rapidly in critical hourly salaried positions to support, hourly and salaried positions to support the Model 3 production ramp and future product development, end quote. And finally, the Mayor of London has brought forward his aim to establish a series of zero-emission zones in parts of London. By 5 years, they've brought it forward in the final draft of the London Environment Strategy published last week. Says Air Quality News. City Hall's going to seek to implement zero-emission zones in the town centres from 2020 with the aim of delivering a single zero-emission zone in central London from 2025. Yes, bring it on. Get buying that EV. Well, I would love to spread the word about electric cars. If you can, please share this with somebody, one person, or all of your Twitter followers, doesn't matter, who might be interested. You can listen to every previous episode of the podcast. I leave them all online. They're online for free if you want them. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, TuneIn, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio podcasts, and the blog at evnewsdaily.com. And if you subscribe, you get them first and free and automatically. I catch you on the socials, yeah? Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. Just search EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.